year is 2684, and humanity is doomed. After centuries of a never-ending quest for progress, man finally perfects the Robotrons, a race of robots so advanced that it becomes superior to its creators. Guided by their infallible logic, the Robotrons have concluded that the human race is irreparably flawed and must be eliminated. War is declared. I am the last hope for mankind. It's my mission to stop the unstoppable and save the last remnants of our species. Welcome to Mike's Gaming Gala. I'm Mike, and this week we're looking at Robot War 2684 for the Atari 2600, published by Champ Games. Robot War comes in a professionally printed box with a nice manual, a mini poster of the box art, and a new injection molded cartridge. The version I have here is the old one from Atari Age, but the newer one from Champ Games is nearly identical. By now, we all know that Champ Games makes great stuff, but how great is this one? Let's take a look. After the splash screen, we get a nice menu where we have a few options, not all of which are readily apparent. Moving the joystick left or right selects your difficulty level between novice, standard, or advanced play. Difficulty adjusts the amount of lives you start with, as well as the amount of enemies on screen and their spawn, fire, and movement rate. Pressing the game select switch on your console changes the game mode between one player, two players taking turns, and two-player co-op, where you each play together with your own character and can even revive each other if hit. Sadly, for this one, I wasn't able to get a player 2, so we're only going to be looking at one player. But it's a great feature, and I look forward to playing it one day. Hopping into the game, we can choose what wave we start on, and right away we see that, obviously, this is a port of the classic twin-stick arcade game, Robotron 2084. The stated goal of Robotron is to save the last remnants of humanity from the attacking robots. But really, the true goal here is just to survive as long as possible. You play as a mutant with superhuman powers, a genetic engineering error, and you're the only one who can save mankind. Each wave, you start in the center of the playfield, and all the robots and humans will spawn around you. From here, right away, you'll be running around like crazy, just trying to survive. There are multiple control modes that you can utilize, but before we get into that, let's talk about everything on screen. There's a lot. At the top of the screen is your score, followed by the number of lives you have left. Way down at the bottom of the screen is the wave that you're on. Within the confines of the playfield, you'll encounter a wide variety of both friends and enemies that will need to be dealt with in different ways. First are the humans, your friends, and the objects of your rescue attempt. People come in three types: men, women, and children, referred to as Daddy, Mommy, and Mikey. Don't. Human characters will wander around as if there's nothing going on. Really, can't say much for the intelligence of the people involved here, but you'll gain points for each one that you save by touching them. However, if they're hit by any of the robots, they'll be killed. Honestly, based on how dumb these guys are, I don't feel particularly bad when that happens, aside from the lost points. Robots come in a variety of shapes and sizes, each with their own dangers. Grunts are striped rectangles. They're the standard unit, and they're worth 100 points each. They don't have any weapons, but rather simply move constantly in your direction. If you ever touch one, you'll lose a life. Hulks are big green beasts and similar to the grunts in that they don't shoot. They lumber around the playfield, seeking out the family of humans in each wave. These guys are indestructible, so you'll have to just stay out of their way. That said, you can push them back with your shots. Spheroids are little red circles that dart all over the playfield. Shooting them nets you 1,000 points, and you'll want to kill them as fast as you can, because their real job is to deploy our next robot entry, Enforcers. Enforcers are gray with triangle heads. They'll track you in a circular pattern and fire deadly sparks at you. Really, the best way to keep yourself from getting overwhelmed by these guys is to make sure you clear the spheroids quickly, so that fewer of them are spawned. Enforcers are worth 150 points, and their sparks are worth 25 points. Quarks are blue rectangles with a green X inside of them. They operate similar to spheroids, except for these guys deploy tanks. Destroy quarks on sight. They're worth 1,000 points each, and try to get that as soon as you can. Tanks are brutal, so preventing them is a good thing. Tank robots move slowly while tracking you, but if you don't kill them fast, they'll launch rebounding shells that will make your life hell. Once you've got a bunch of these shells flying across the screen, you're a dead man. Tanks are worth 200 points, and if you can manage to shoot their shells, they're worth 50 points each. Brains are next, and they're the most clever and potentially dangerous of the Robotrons. They launch cruise missiles that will mercilessly seek you out, but that's not the most terrifying thing about them. Brains roam the playfield looking for humans, and if one is unfortunate enough to be captured, it becomes a prog. Progs are what you get when a human is touched by a brain. Basically, they turn into the Flash and rocket towards you with a trail of streaks behind them. They're fast and deadly to the touch. Brains are worth 500 points, and their missiles are worth 25 points. Progs are worth a mere 100 points, which hurts twice as bad since you're also missing the points you could have gotten by rescuing them. Last but not least are small stationary blocks that are randomly placed around the playfield simply to get in your way. These are electrodes, and if you touch one, you guessed it, you lose a life. Thankfully, you can clear them with shots in order to make a path for yourself. No points for them though. Alright, we know what we have to do and we know what we'll be facing. Time to talk about all the different control methods we can utilize. As usual, Champ Games has provided a multitude of controller options for you to get the most out of your gameplay experience. Being that Robotron is a twin-stick game, the best way to play Robot War, in my opinion, is the twin-stick control method. With 2 joysticks plugged in and the left difficulty switch set to B, use the left joystick to move and the right joystick to aim your shots. Pushing the right joystick in any direction will auto-fire a steady stream of laser blasts. In this control mode, the buttons aren't used. If you have a Quadtari, both players can play with their own twin sticks, making sure that both difficulty switches are set to B. With only one controller plugged in for either player and the difficulty staying at B, you play in single stick mode with manual fire. Press the button to fire in the direction of your movement and hold the button to lock the firing direction. You can fire in multiple directions when you're standing still by releasing the joystick and button and then holding the button while moving the joystick. If you have the difficulty switch set to A, you enable auto fire mode. Here, you automatically fire in your initial movement direction. Pressing the button while you're moving will change the firing direction to your current direction. Once again, here you can fire multiple directions while stationary by releasing everything and then holding down the button while moving the joystick. Finally, if you like to play your Atari with the Sega Genesis controller, Champ Games has you covered there as well. With the difficulty switch set to B, you play in manual fire mode, where button B fires in the direction you're moving and button C fires in the opposite direction. Multi-direction firing works the same as in single joystick mode. Difficulty A sets the control to auto-fire, where button C rotates your fire clockwise and button B rotates your fire counterclockwise. Multi-direction firing, once again, works very similar, but here you have to hold down both B and C buttons before rotating the D-pad while stationary. In-game controls include the Game Select switch, which will take you back to the title menu, Game Reset, which will restart the game with the current options, and the black and white switch, which acts as a pause button. I wish I had a whole bunch of tips and tricks to share with you on how to get a big score, but really, this game is so chaotic, you kind of just have to play a lot so that you get a feel for it. Save as many humans as you can, because they're worth big points. Especially in early stages, leaving the last shootable enemy and gathering up all the remaining people before you advance is a great way to get points early. If you destroy all the enemies, you'll advance whether there are humans left on the screen or not. As you progress, try your best to prioritize enemies that spawn others, like spheroids and quarks. The best way to keep things manageable is to prevent more robots from entering the fray. That's all well and good to say, but trust me, you'll get to a point where you're just blasting anything close to you. When you finally lose all your lives, if you've made the high score list, you'll be able to enter your initials in for eternal glory, or rather until you turn your system off. If you have an Atari Vox or save key though, your scores will actually be saved and you can show off to your friends. And that's Robot War 2684 for the Atari 2600. So what did I think? Well, despite the fact that I've never been particularly good at it, I have always loved Robotron. And I never thought in a million years that it would be possible to have a fully functional version of it on the 2600. The fact that this exists in any way is incredibly impressive. But this doesn't just exist. It plays amazingly well, replicating that frantic gameplay and even the super colorful experience in a way that just shouldn't be possible. I'd place this up among the best Robotron ports. Even in emulation, mapping the right joystick to the right stick on your controller makes for a great gaming experience that feels smooth and modern, which is odd to say for a game built for a console that's nearly 50 years old. Whether you get the physical version or buy the ROM, this one gets my highest recommendation. It's an awesome port. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you liked it, and thank you so much to my channel members. I appreciate your support so much. As always, my contact info is in the description, and we'll see you next time on Mike's Gaming Gala.